the rookies have already went to camp. So this is pretty much our very last, what I call off-season video here this week when we talk about Ravens. So this is pretty much the last one when we talk about the season, because the rookies are now at camp. Next week, we're going to have vets. We're going to do our state of the franchise. So we're going to talk about the state of the Ravens, kind of like the president, the State of the Union, but we start the football season. We're going to start the state of the franchise. After that, we're going to have training camp reports, and we'll be talking about games, regular season. So after that, so we're ready for the season to start. But let's look at one more thing here in the offseason as well. This is the Ravens on the hot seat. So who's under pressure? Obviously, as adults, we have pressure, right? We go to work every day. We pay bills. Well, some of us pay bills. Some of us help, or whatever we do. We raise children, whatever. The hot seat. In football, there's pressure all the time. Football, more than any other sport, as far as the contract, as far as money, they don't make as much money because there's more players on the team, and the contracts are guaranteed because of the violent nature. So there's pressure. And so who is under the most pressure to perform? Now, pressure could be in terms of skill level, losing your job, whatever, getting fired. Who has heat on them throughout this season? Who has heat right at the start? Last year we did this where some guys were on the hot, now they're colder, whatever, etc. So we're going to look at guys who is under the most pressure, who is on the hot seat. I will say one that's not there is John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh was definitely on the hot seat last year. I think he survives no matter what. This year, he might retire. So let's look at the hot seat this year. Now, we can't start with hot. We're going to start with cold. Who is on the team and it's cold? So what does that mean? I didn't include rookies on here. I generally don't. It's too hard to quantify. So Malachi Starks, Mike Green, who isn't signed, by the way, who's still that's a whole nother issue. But a lot of these guys, obviously, if you're a lower pick, you get more room to go. If you're a higher pick, rather, you kind of get more room to grow. You're really not under a lot of pressure. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure if you're a low pick, but there's no real expectation of it. So I didn't include any rookies on here. So the veteran group, who is on the hot seat and who's cold? This is cold. So what is that? This is the core of the team. These are the leaders. These are the guys that are building around your football team as far as that. Obviously, our fearless leader, Lamar Jackson, is at 1. Obviously, nothing's going to happen. Lamar's going to get a huge extension. Kyle Hamilton, I think, is 2. Kyle's going to get an extension. I think they're going to maybe working that out right now as well. We'll see. Tyler Linderbaum, I think, is there as well. Not quite an extension. I think he's going to get one. Linderbaum, I think, might be sooner than Hamilton because they didn't pick up the option. I think they're going to pay him as a center, which is why they didn't pick it up. So I think they're going to change that. Justin Matabuke, not quite as good last year, but really good still. I think they're paying Matabuke a lot of money. Roquan, little rumor about Roquan being out of shape. I don't know. I'm not so worried about Roquan quite yet. I mean, we're here. It's still in July as well. Zay Flowers, definitely he's definitely core of the football team. He hasn't been extended yet, but I think that's only a matter of time. I think they'd franchise him if they didn't get it. And Roger Rosengarten as well. So Roger Rosengarten, clearly, I think the tackle of the future here. The guy on the offensive line, Matabuke, Linderbaum, and Rosengarten, they're going to build that around. Cool. That's the core of your football team. They'll be there regardless. Cool. Now, not quite the core like those guys. Long-term build around, but in the short term, be very surprised. Derrick Henry just signed an extension, probably not in the other category, only because he's 30-something years old, so that's a little bit of a concern, maybe a little bit as far as that goes, so he's not going to have too long of a deal. Nate Wiggins, I think, as well. Not quite an extension yet, but probably in that same category. Rashad Bateman did sign an extension. So he's your number 2 receiver, but he's signed for a couple years. Definitely put him in this category. Shout out to Rashad getting this far. Rashad really is proven himself. I think really changed it. I think he's solid if healthy. Ronnie Stanley, again, Last year, hot seat, played well, got an extension. Good job, Ronnie Stanley, getting that deal done. And Marlon Humphrey, kind of the same. Hot seat, struggled, injured later before, played well. I think he's back in the core of the team. I think he's definitely, they view him as the number one corner, even though a lot of times he'll be in the slot. This is the mid, right? So you're not really hot, you're not really cold. This is how most of the NFL looks. So probably a spot on the team, but maybe they're on a 1 year. Maybe you won't see them next year. Maybe if they don't play well, etc., maybe they'll start. A little tough to tell. As far as that, most of the team: Pat Ricard, Cooper Rush, Travis Jones, Joseph Noteboom, Bo Braid, Cecily Kane, Tylen Wallace. I think I said Bo Braid. Yeah, Bo Braid, Cecily Kane, Tylen Wallace, Devontae Walker. Nobody really sticks out there. I think Noteboom, will be here for a year. Jones might get into the other category. We'll see. I'm not putting him there yet simply because they have so much money there in Matabuke. So we'll see if that's probably if one that maybe wouldn't be in this category. I'm still going to put him here. I don't think I don't think he can survive a down year or anything. I think there's still a little bit. I think he's still in the mid category. I wouldn't put him in the cool in the cold or the cool category. Jordan Stout, Nick Moore, Andrew Voorhees, Tavarius Robinson, Kyle Van Noy, John Jenkins, TJ Tampa, Adisa Isaacs, Charlie Kolar. Stout, I think for sure is going to be on the team. So is Nick Moore if healthy. Voorhees, I think is a spot. Tavarius Robinson, I think definitely. I don't know how much he'll play. Van Noy is a solid player, but older. John Jenkins, same. He'll rotational player. TJ Champ and Isaac, we really don't know. High picks, a lot of faith in them, but they'll probably not get cut. They'll probably be there. Charlie Kolar, same. Although I think he's somewhat more vulnerable than people think, but I don't think there's a real challenger for him. I mean, he is still, even though he's a vet, he's still a third tight end. There's some when you're a third tight end, there's still a better chance that you can get beaten out as well. Jake Hummel, Chibiagoze as well, and also Jair Alexander. Hummel, I think a special teams guy. I think if he plays well, he'll be on the roster as well. Owuzie, I think same. And Alexander, I think he's going to be your starter. I think either that or Nate Wiggins, he's going to be in the slot. He's going to have a major role on the team. Owuzie, I think there's a little more pressure on him. There's another way to look at that. Probably with Alexander, maybe a little less time on the field, but I think he's on the roster. I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't make it, or if it is, he'll play somewhere. There'll be a trade. They really like one of the young corners, one of the young rookie corners. Hot seat. So these guys have some pressure on them. Good players, some of them, but heat is a little bit here in a bunch of cases. Keaton Mitchell. Somebody say that's weird because he's a good player. Yeah, but still, third running back. Didn't coming off an injury. He was good last year. So was the two guys. The two guys ahead of him are really good. So he's gonna have to fight for playing time. Interesting to see how much he actually plays. He's gonna have to play well still. He can't. A lot of pressure on Keaton Mitchell. Trent Simpson, a lot of high hopes. Last year didn't play as well. Got benched. Really didn't play at all down the stretch. They're gonna try him to start. They did have Teddy Buchanan at his position. So there's some pressure on him. I don't think he's gonna have to fight in camp a little bit harder, I think, this year to keep the spot. Daniel Falele, yeah, man. Everybody's assuming that this is done with Falele. They drafted a lot of tackles for a reason. I can't believe that they're just looking at left guard. So we know how much they like Linderbaum. You know how much they like Linderbaum. They gave Ronnie Stanley a lot of money, and also too, I think Rosengarten, I think is a core piece. So what's left? They drafted a lot of offensive linemen for a reason. He probably starts, but they're watching him. I definitely think they're absolutely watching him. Justice Hill, I think he's a little lower than Mitchell. I think he is going to play more. I will say, though, he still could be in the same boat as Mitchell. I think it's less likely, but they could move him. I think if it is, if Mitchell is really good enough, I don't expect that, but I think it is possible as well. He was really good last year. May see the field less this year. It wouldn't happen. Nick Samak, I don't know if he's going to make the team. They drafted him low. He really, again, he's an unknown, but he was a lower pick than a lot of the rookies last year. We just talked about it, TJ Tampa and Adiza Isaac. I would say Samak kind of in the same boat, but he's a little bit worse because he's a lower pick, and I don't know. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't make the team. It's a little hot. Broderick Washington as well. Interesting. Now, I had Travis Jones in the mid category. I had him. Broderick's been a somewhat disappointing contract coming up. It is possible that he gets less time here as well. So we'll see. They did take John Jenkins, who got some experience. Broderick has to play well. Broderick is a little bit hot. Not blazing hot because I don't think there's a lot of competition for him. But I think under different circumstances, you might put him in the category. Just kind of okay. They need him to be better. These guys are red flaming hot in terms of pressure on them as well. David Ajabo, I don't think he makes the Ravens in 2025. I don't think so. I think it's possible he does. It's possible. I think he might have. They brought in a lot of edge rush guys. He just hasn't shown that much. I think he's on the outside looking in. Ben Cleveland's here because it's clear. I don't care what anybody says at this point. Harbaugh just doesn't like him. His coach just doesn't. I think with all the issues he had, they put that out there. He's got absolutely no signing bonus. They give him $1 million if he makes the team. He doesn't get anything if he doesn't. So interesting with Ben. I think I don't think he could make the team. I think it's a little more than a Jabo, but I'm not sure. Jalen Armour Davis, I think rumor is he may be moving to safety. I think I almost want to not put him in a hot. He's definitely in a hot seat. I almost do want to, on some level, give him credit for lasting as long as he even has, because he hasn't, with the injuries being low on the depth chart. It seems like every time you kind of wash your hands with him, he plays well. So he may be moving to safety, especially with the injury to Darius. We'll see about that as well. And the last two, Mark Andrews, I say likely. Surely they're on the team. Andrews, in part, I think it's a little more obvious. He's older and he had the drop pass in the playoff game as well. So, and he doesn't have a contract for next year. So I think that's obvious. I don't know if they're in the pressure as far as getting cut, but there's definitely a lot of heat on Mark Andrews as well. Isaiah likely does too. I think everybody's assuming that this is going to go, but Isaiah likely is playing for a contract. Rumor is the Ravens have offered him a contract. We'll see about that, but he's certainly playing for a contract either him next year. Look, he's still hasn't been named starter, and he doesn't have a contract for next season. So there's a lot of pressure. He's got to maintain what he's been doing. You know what I'm saying? So in order to get that money. So it'd be interesting to see if he can get a contract as well with the Ravens or somewhere else. Hot seat. There you go. So there it is. Ravens on the hot seat. Interesting to see how this goes. I think Ajabo is really on borrowed time. Robert was really in a tough spot. Ben Cleveland really in a tough spot. Armour Davis really in a tough spot. We'll see how this shakes out with the tight ends. A lot of pressure on him. Broderick as well. I do think Roger Rosengart, core of your team. No way